Hey there YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how to change the oil on your 1986 Yamaha Moto-4. This happens to be a 225 right there. Super easy. To do just a simple oil change, just to get the one quart out of it, which is the majority. I think it only holds like 1.2 quarts, but I'm just going from memory since I've had this since I was a kid. Alright, so what you're going to need is 2 quarts of 10W30. These are $2.44 at Walmart. And you're going to need a 19mm socket. It does not have to be a deep well, but it does have to have an extension of some type to get down in there. I'm going to show you where it is. On the left side, or I guess, I don't know, the driver's side. Down here at the bottom. Oh, you're also probably going to want to get a pan to collect it. Under here, there's a bolt hiding. And that bolt right there is what drains the engine oil. So I'm just going to do that right now. Be warned that behind that bolt is a filter thing with a spring, and that'll come out when you screw it. Actually, I think the filter might be on the other side, but I'll get to that in a second. Alright, there is a filter in here. I thought I remembered that correctly. There's also a gasket right here. It's pretty clean. While this is draining, I want to remind you that you can run it to make the oil flow a little better, but it just makes the whole process very unpleasant. So just give it more time and don't run it before you do it, because bumping this stuff when it's hot sucks. Alright, and on this side, the filter is actually in this little housing with 3 Allen bolts, and it's always a pain to get to because of this stupid brake linkage, but you can do it. And it is a 5mm hex. And to get to that last bolt there, just push the brake down, then you can just clear it. Ooh, that's a long sucker on the top left. The other 2 bolts are the same size. Shit. Wow, that filter is dirty. All kinds of little crud in it. So it's working. Now to go clean it. Alright, so I actually found a small hole in my filter. This is the same filter that I've been using in it since I was old enough to change the oil. And usually I just wash it off and let it dry, but there's clearly a rip right there in it. So I have to go to the store and get myself a new filter. So I'm going to have to pause this video. Alright, an hour trip into town later. Alright, here's the new oil filter. There's the part number. And there's the old one. The new one. According to the parts guy at the Power Sport place, they switched to this new kind of cartridge design over the screen because it said it filters better. I'd have to believe him after that ripped and that little piece of sand went right through it. So, back to work. The rubber on this one is not as pushed in as my old one, because it's new, so it's a little bit harder to put this cover on. I wish I would have cleaned the bike off better before I did this. Come back over to this side and put this back on. The filter side, this yellow right here, this yellow part goes towards the inside of the motor. So like this. Oh, the camera's right in my way. And the cap kind of seats on the spring there. There's three little prongs on the cap. Alright, and then you fill it just like you would any other thing that uses oil. Make sure that you got your little O-ring on this still. It's all very important to have these O-rings. And then when you're reading the line on here, see how there's two lines? You want the oil to be right in the middle of those two lines right there. And when you're measuring it, you of course clean the dipstick off, put it back in, and you set it just like this. So you just set it in there, and then you go, and then you look at your measurement again and make sure it's in between the two lines. Do not screw it in and then screw it out again and check your measurement, because that'll throw it off. Alright, so it took the entire first quart, just for reference, and then when you're pouring the last quart, you pour oil sideways. So pour it into the bike like this. Alright, and just to show you where normal should be, there we go. So put it in. Right there. Between the two lines, not over the top line, is what the manual says.